If there's any part of humanity that says, I don't want to hear your message, whatever it is, for whatever reason, and I don't want to fully ground it in my system now and live from this new understanding. Now, that doesn't mean agree. It's really important. If somebody says that war is necessary and killing is necessary, and we we don't have any other choice than to destroy our adversaries if we want to be able to have a functional, stable world. We may not agree with those messages. That doesn't mean we're not going to do our very best to understand when, where, how, and why they would feel that way. Because if we don't understand it, if we can't accept how they feel, what they feel, why they feel that way, or what they think or believe, or what they value, or why they think or believe or value it, how are we going to meet them in conscious collaboration? How can we offer them a message that they can receive that says, well, peace is a possibility. Unconditional love and compassion are options. Killing, war, and death is not a necessity. And this is why. If we're not willing to at least understand when, where, how, and why they feel what they feel, or think what they think, or believe what they believe, how are we going to be able to help them understand that they are loved by us unconditionally? We're not a threat. We're not trying to coerce them. We're not trying to change them. We're not trying to pressurize them. We're not trying to condition them. We're not trying to make them believe what we believe. None of that. We want to meet them as souls and love them as souls. If they're wounded, if they're traumatized, we want to help heal them. If there's information we have that would benefit their lives and help them be happier, find inner peace, live peacefully in the world, we want to offer that. We're not here to judge them. We're not here to vilify them. We're certainly not here to destroy them. And we're not against anybody or anything. And we're for love, peace, joy, happiness, compassion, service, sustainability. So if someone says, I choose, there's really saying I choose, even though they're deciding to be closed, not open, to project whatever onto us, whatever their life experiences might have led them to think or feel or believe. Even if we're not any of those things, that's just the human tendency to project our prior experiences of relationship and interaction with other human beings onto the people that we meet today and tomorrow. Even if it's a completely inaccurate map, even if the projection has no validity whatsoever, there's an unwinding that must occur in their systems from who they think we are, who they imagine we are, who they project we are, who they fear we are, or who they want us to be, so that they can either vilify us, judge us, punish us, control us, manipulate us, or influence us, or simply be safe from us. Can we choose to understand, to love and care and understand perceived other so well, so kindly, so gently, so compassionately, that they are healed simply by the conversation? And that a bridge of love, kindness, and care is immediately generated, created, that is then sustainable. For certain people, facts, truth, realities, other people's perspectives, challenges are just not convenient. I don't want to listen because I have too much on my plate. I don't want to listen because I'm too busy. I don't want to listen because I gave at the office. I don't want to listen because I only care about my family and their well-being. The rest of the world can go off a cliff and I don't care. I've got different priorities, or it doesn't fit my present worldview or my values or my belief systems or my reality construct. Or if I were to really hear you and really understand your pain in this moment, without filtering it, without denying it, without vilifying it, without judging it, without putting a spin on it, without misinterpreting it, without distorting it, and without projecting onto it, it might cause me personal pain or discomfort. And I want to avoid that. I don't want to be in pain today. I don't care what kind of pain you're in or the world's in. I just don't feel like being in pain today. Well, we're not being facetious. We're saying this is human nature always to choose pain first. If you allow a portion of your system to be open, vulnerably open and aware, that you'll be able to see and understand and perceive consciously and more comprehensively. So some people also don't want to hear messages and fully ground them in their systems. That means down to the root chakra and below. That means it doesn't mean just hearing, oh, I heard the word, so I heard your message. I know exactly what you mean, and now I'll dismiss it. That's a very superficial veneer of listening, and that doesn't arrive at true comprehensive learning and evolution. That's I listened enough to be able to refute your statements. I listened enough to criticize and judge you. I listened enough to dismiss you and diminish you publicly and socially and claim to be better than you and superior to your point of view. I listened that much. There was no intention to learn. There must be a chosen intention to learn and understand from others. And that's a discipline. That's a literal, intentional discipline that can only be arrived at with enough willful intention and determination and courage and love and compassion. And with all of that, we hear everybody all the time. It doesn't matter what they're saying. It all matters. That said, we're not going to filter what they're saying. We're not going to deny it, suppress it, attack it, judge it, criticize it. We're just going to hear it, see it, hear it, understand it. You see that people imagine that becoming conscious is a process of potentially losing something rather than it being all gain. It's all benefit, it's all gain, it's all gifts. And the ego identified parts of themselves don't have a way to perceive it as such. And so there's internal transformational resistance that is triggered in people's systems. They don't want to look back and say, are you telling me I've done life wrong for the past 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years? I've lived life wrong? Well, we're not, that's never the message. And the ego often only has the capacity to interpret it from that dualistic vantage point of I either did life right or I did it wrong. I was a good person or I was a bad person. Not I was a person. I was a soul, a work in progress, always being evolved, changed, and learning and growing all the time. This misinterpretive dualistic tendency within the human process, in order for us to literally hear and understand, fully understand and ground that understanding in our systems of another's process, to walk a mile in their shoes, if you will. In order for that to happen, we must be willing to allow ourselves to look upon our own pasts without judgment, without self-criticism, without our inner critic narratives being triggered into a sandstorm of obscuration, without going into self-hatred or without going into fear of, oh, does this mean I wasn't smart yesterday or 10 years ago or 30 years ago, or I did wrong and I'll never be able to fix it. Those kinds of misapprehensions are endemic in our world, and they inhibit the conscious transformation and evolution of consciousness at our foundations. They slow our process down, our progress of attaining consciousness collectively, they slow it down. It's imperative that humanity learn this capacity, this vital capacity, to fully learn and ground their learning in every dimension of their system immediately, to process it immediately, not someday, and not when it's safe to do so, and not when there are no pressures, or not when the world's fixed itself all by itself without their inclusion or their participation. It's imperative that humanity learn to do that now, because that means they're being self-accountable about their consciousness evolution, their process of learning, their participation in the world, their service in the world, ensuring the quality of their service in the world, and serving from heartfelt compassion.